just under 30 minutes ago, Concord announced that the servers are now officially all offline. However, things don't quite end there just yet. That takes us to this post over on Reddit titled, "Allegedly, senior concept artists for Concord are going through an extremely difficult time, and some might no longer want to work in games or design characters after this."
I used to pray for times like this. Man. Wow.
So we're going to take a look at a number of tweets that
Amazing.
allegedly come from Amanda Kiefer. Before we do, let me give you all the context here. Amanda Kiefer is a senior concept artist over at Firewalk Studios, which is, of course, the studio behind Concord. Now, it looks like she's in protected mode. However, it seems like one of her confirmed followers actually leaked the messages and posted them over on Reset Era.
No AI, no NFTs. Uh-oh.
And she was seemingly responding to this person who said, "Kinda want to try to redesign one of the Concord characters. Not to fix art or any pretentious BS. Just as an
Oh, you know, bro, this is gonna make her so mad. Oh, yeah.
experience to see if I can find where it went wrong in the designs.
Where
also,
it
sounds
wrong.
like a fun thing to draw. I love GOTG looking stuff. I'm just assuming that stands for Guardians of the Galaxy, but correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, I guess
think they
that's
look
it.
great as
I didn't guess
background
either.
characters in the movie or something. They're just missing the hero part. Yeah, you know, the part that's pretty important for a hero shooter.
Yeah,
Look
imagine
like background characters. That's pretty funny. All right, with that context, let's take a look at this set of messages allegedly
see
from
this.
Amanda Kiefer
Yeah.
responding to that artist whose tweet we just read. "I was going to DM you after seeing this, but this site makes me pay to do that. So at the risk of getting dogpiled, I'm just going to..."
Wait, you can't send DMs on Twitter unless you have Twitter Blue? Is that true? Yeah, I only if he activates it? I didn't even know that. The fuck? It's a filter type thing?
say this here. A lot affected the art side of Concord, including design by committee, failure of some leadership to listen to the art team, etc. The character concept art team, including myself, is going through an extremely difficult time emotionally. And some of the team no longer want to work in games, design characters, or even do art anymore after this. Because of this, posts like yours, though understandable, are unfortunately ill-timed. None of us know which way the wind will blow with the studio. We are worried sick and terrified of the future. Not only that, but we have been shouldering the brunt of the emotional labor as executives/directors dodge most of the blame. Behind the scenes
Well, to be fair, I mean, they weren't the ones that wrote the characters, right? I mean, it was you that did it. You made the, like, it was the executive standing behind you and telling you to make this character. Maybe they were, right? And I mean, I think that she's right about that kind of to an extent. But, like, I don't like this narrative that the only people who are at fault are, like, the executives, because I think that fault probably goes all the way down the line. I bet there's people that are actual artists that are incompetent and bad at their job. I think there's executives that are bad and incompetent at their job. And I dislike this otherization of executive leadership because it's like, you always are like, oh, well, it's the people that are in charge who are at fault. Well, it's their responsibility, you're right, but it might not necessarily be their fault. Can't really guess, to be honest. Well, I mean, in any situation that you've ever been in, like, you know that if you have a problem somewhere, the problem is usually a systematic problem. It's not like there's one person.
of all this talk about Concord and character designs, people's livelihoods are at risk. And there are very real financial consequences that might hurt us even more. That's just what I can say from our point of view. I'm not saying change course or anything. Us artists like being able to use social media to promote our work and get more jobs, but I'm saying we see this.
That's something that I would do the opposite of with Concord. Like, if I worked on Concord, and I would be like, well, what did you do between those 8 years? Nothing. Nothing. I didn't do anything. Yeah, I was in jail. They're like, oh, okay, thank God. All right, I thought you were an artist for Concord.
It does absolutely affect us, since we just got our teeth kicked in. Okay, so if those messages are indeed true, then here's my thoughts. I do agree that the executives, the directors, the suits at the top should not be dodging most of the blame. Clearly, they all wanted this sort of like modern audience approach for Concord that ended up being a terrible decision. And that, of course, would reflect on the character design team that they hired. At the same time, for all I know, a lot of the character design team may have also wanted to take that approach and had no issue with it. There's really
Exactly. And that's my perspective on it too. It's like the idea that it's all the executive's fault just sounds like bullshit to me.
context that we don't know about. And it does seem fair to say that the character design team probably could have done a better job. Like, there wasn't a single design that really looked good in that game. And pretty much everybody, including myself, won't always do our best.
And also, like, even if you want to have a modern audience feel to it, it doesn't mean it has to look like shit.
Work. Sometimes we mess up, sometimes we make mistakes, and that's a normal thing to have happen on occasion. So I do think it's a little tacky for this person to bring up like, oh, our livelihoods are at risk, as if no one's allowed to criticize the character roster of this AAA game. Like, I don't want anyone's livelihood to be at risk, but come on, that's like a guilt-trippy, tacky move.
Oh, it's so pathetic. It's like this parasocial relationship that people feel like they want you have to feel sorry for them because they made a product that nobody likes. Yeah, cry me a fucking river. Like, do you know how many streamers there are that try to go out there and they put 8 hours into their stream every single day, and then they get 6 viewers after a year? Like, you know what? Sometimes things just don't work out. Streaming to Nightbot? Yeah, and it sucks, man. But, like, that's just how it goes. It's not the world's fault that, It's not the world's fault that you're not able to do this, right? Like, don't expect other people to like go along and let that happen. If a movie's bad, do you blame the cameraman or the makeup person? No, it's the director's fault or the writer. It's the person who's in charge who's at fault. I think that it's honestly probably most of the time, I bet it is a team effort. With any sort of a big failure like this, I would think that it's a team effort. It's not like one person or like one group of people did it. I think it's just a large group of people that all did it together.
We all need to make an income. That doesn't mean that if we do a bad job on something, no one's allowed to say anything about it.
That's what's so crazy. That is the most annoying fucking thing that I hear, is like people that are saying, well, these guys, this is their job. If it's your fucking job, then shouldn't you have done a better job? What's this idea that, like, now you're going to do a shitty fucking job on something and everybody's supposed to be okay with it? What? In what other universe does this work? If you go and you get an oil change at the fucking mechanics and they replace your oil and, fuck. Said oil? Oh my God, I put Mountain Dew in it again. Oh, jeez. And it's like, I don't want to pay for that. Not again. Stupid fucking mistakes. Oh, wow. Oops. Yeah. Larry. Did you at least gave him code red, right? It's got more caffeine and it'll make the car run faster. Nobody gives a fuck about this. You're never going to go back there again. So I don't want to fucking hear this shit. It's so pathetic that people try to guilt trip and say like, oh yeah, you shouldn't have this feeling. It's crazy.
Surely get the point, so I'll leave it there. Let me know what you think about this stuff in the comments. If you enjoyed my coverage, consider liking and subscribing, and I'll see you in the next one.
I think that it's so just fucking funny for me to see this. And also, like, I do feel bad for a lot of the artists, but how is it that there are a lot of other games that have modern audience styled characters that don't look like garbage? I refuse to believe that the CEO or the game director was standing behind you and made you make that robot look as stupid as it did. I don't believe that. That it just, again, it goes against everything that I could ever even conceptualize. They weren't sitting behind you and being like, oh, well, make this one dumber, make her fatter, make her arms bigger. Yeah, like they surely didn't care though. Yeah, they did a bad job. You did a bad job. Like I feel like, yeah, so what were you doing for those 8 years? I committed a felony assault and I had to spend 8 years in prison. The interviews are like, oh, thank God. Wow. I thought you were an artist for Concord. You know? If I knew somebody worked on this game, I would probably never want to hire them for anything ever again. I do. Like, I'm sorry. And the thing is that I understand that with anything like this, that I'm sure there were good people that were working and were trying to do their best. But you know what? If you're running a company, would you want to take that risk? Would you want to take that chance bringing in somebody who might not necessarily know that? Would you want to risk that? I wouldn't. And like, again, yeah, you're being unreasonable. Let me read this to see. I'm being unreasonable. Okay. Lovely. Why is that? Can we add that's a great question. Somebody asked, can we add Concord to the criminal record? I think that probably, like, we do need a new law for that. You know, if you work on one of these really bad video games, you should just go to fucking jail. Okay, what is this here? The art's not that bad. Oh, it's not that bad. It's not good enough. It's not that bad. That means it's bad. Not that bad. Okay, so you have... All right. Okay. Okay, you want to do this? Let's do it. All right. Okay. We're going to have right here. This is... So if you look at the chart that I've just created, you would see that on the spectrum chart here, not that bad is still categorized inside of the bad category. So not that bad is still bad. Do you understand how, like, this doesn't really work with me? The art direction maybe, but the models are well done. Also, Ackman said the marketing for the game sucked. The marketing for the game sucked? Really? Okay, then explain Deadlock. It's just, again, like, no. Nope. Not for me. Spanko's on shit analogy? Yep. It's Valve. What, Sony's not big? People don't take Sony seriously? People only take Valve seriously? Come on. What are we talking about? Or it's not that bad? Yes. So anyway, if you go back and you look at this chart, you will see that really bad and not that bad are still inside of the bad category. Okay and decent are inside of the neutral category. And pretty good and amazing are inside of the good category. Art, and also, by the way, somebody brings up a really great point. Art is part of the marketing. I would ask the question how much freedom the artist had when creating the characters. I wouldn't even give a fuck. Like, if I found somebody worked on that game, I would not want to hire them. Let's be honest, right? Make attractive characters in Western video games normal again? Yeah, that'll happen. I guarantee you there's a lot of studios that are seeing what's happened with things like Concord, and they're totally changing up their outlooks based off of it. I think that's absolutely what's going to happen.